I feel like the relationship with alcohol is something I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah,
So you've been sober for how many years now? Is that okay to talk about
yeah,
your time?
yeah, absolutely. I just got to 12 years now.
12 fucking years, dude. Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm coming up on 8, which is for me.
Amazing.
Like,
yeah,
thank you.
around the same time.
Like I've got 10 in my sights, you know what I mean?
Nice,
it's like that feeling of like, I'm sure you have like 15 or 20 in your sights, but we're not supposed to do that. So
yeah.
So you said 12 years ago.
12 years ago, yeah.
Did you have a bottom, or was it just kind of like, I'm just done, man?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think when I was first kind of trying to get sober, I would go to meetings or something and I would go, "Oh, I haven't hit that bottom, so I can keep going. It's not that bad yet."
Yeah. You're like trauma swapping or comparing.
I'm like, "Oh, okay, so they have a real problem and I'm probably just like a fun problem drinker."
Yeah.
Something like
Relate,
that.
100%.
I did start to become aware that the alcohol was creating problems and hurting people and making me act in ways that I didn't feel like, were me, or, being really selfish, or not even saying like, oh, that's not me. I think that like one of the main fears was like, oh my God, is that the real me? When anybody, gets drunk and says something crazy racist or something, you're like, that's your real.
Yeah, that's your true
so
colors,
then
man.
is that like this selfish person who's not thinking about anybody else except for themselves in the moment? Is that my true self? And, it's a complicated thing. And both things I think are true. Like we have our dark sides of ourselves and alcohol helps those things come out, and then it doesn't mean that we aren't who we are when we're able to kind of present to the world a little bit more. That's also a part of ourselves. I didn't like hit a classic bottom. Yeah. But
you didn't wake up in a dumpster.
I didn't wake up in a dumpster. Yeah. I did, there were a lot of things that like now that I'm sober, I'm like, oh, that's like
that's pretty classic alcoholic.
Yeah, when I see in other people, I'm like, or even when I go to a party and I'm like, oh, there's like the 2 drunk people here. I'm like, so in all those other parties, was I just like one of those 3 people?
Right, and you just assume like everybody's on the same level. Yeah, you just kind of
think like we're all here, we're all going until we got, like, it's just a weird thing to go, oh, so most people actually could drive home.
Yeah.
And they're not like singling me out to sleep on the couch because they're like against me or whatever.
No.
Or like they like wild. Me or whatever.
Yeah.
The main thing was basically in my relationship with Melanie, which was pretty, I was in like deep throes of it when we met. And of my drinking. Yeah. And at a certain point, she just went, "You can absolutely keep drinking, but not with me.
I'm not going to stick around."
Yeah, it's too painful. It's too confusing. So that was what started it.
Yeah.
That's what started my... And before that point, I had already tried to get to 90 days.
Sure. Yeah.
Basically, the idea was I get to 90 days, I prove that I'm not an alcoholic, and then I can go back to drinking.
Oh, dude, I did a year. I lied about a year of sobriety to everybody, everybody, and just drank through the whole thing. And then I did an actual year, but like was like just crossing the dates off the calendar. Like, where's that year?
Yeah, exactly.
Shit faced. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and it was confronting too, because like one time I made it to 86 days.
Oh fuck!
And I was like, wow, why? And then like the next day I was like, I almost did it. I almost could drink for the rest of my life. But
you
then
almost proved it to everybody.
When Melanie said that, it was like, well, here was the thing. First of all, sobriety in the first little period of time is really hard because, or at least in my brain, I'm a week in and I go, I can have a week again in a week.
Right. Like I can just I can plan a relapse and it's like part of recovery.
Yeah, and I'm like so not far in that I can just start and you can just do that for I don't even remember how long I did that.
And were you in the program? Were you like one stepping?
No, I was I think what's called white knuckling. I was going to meetings and I was listening to people and I got basically, I admitted that I had a problem. Although even that was tough for me as now you see them and you're like, "Oh, so cute. Welcome." But like people who come and they're like, "My name's Jason," and I'm not sure. You're like, "But you are
really
here."
For me. My mom told me to come.
Yeah, exactly. I'm in a lot of trouble with a lot of people, so that's why
I'm here because I'm court ordered to be here. Those are my favorites. Yeah.
I also my self-esteem was so low at that point that it didn't matter to me to like save myself.
Right. You weren't worth it to yourself.
No, I was really angry at myself and down on myself and self-loathing and all of that stuff. And you're not supposed to get sober for somebody else, but I did, like, Melanie, I could see was worth giving that. Even if I thought we will eventually break up because I'm too crazy, even you're going to see that there's still a lot of problems without the alcohol.
That's terrifying.
You know, I was nervous about it, but and then slowly, slowly started to feel a little bit more like, oh wait, I can make a promise and keep it if I don't get like smashed. And,
it's like actually possible to be an accountable human being.
Yes,
when
exactly.
You're not fucking hungover. And
so then eventually at a certain point I was able to like Indiana Jones swap being sober for her to being sober for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, initially for me, I needed to be doing it for someone else because I didn't care enough about myself.
Right. That's really relatable, man. And like kudos to Melanie for not giving you like an ultimatum. She was like, yeah, do it. But like her boundaries were just like, I'm not, I can't be here.
It was her boundaries.
Yeah. Which is great because how else any other way to put that would be really unhealthy.
Right.
I think that's like the healthiest way to put it is like, this is a line for me.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like touch and go for a while there because one of the dangers with that was when we would get into arguments or discussions or things like that, and I would get so triggered by any kind of like conflict. I would just panic and I would rebel. I was just really crazy. And I knew at the point where we were at the beginning of my not drinking journey that if I had one sip of alcohol, it was over. It was done.
Yeah. Like, because you knew the cascade. You would just
I just knew that like that this relation, I will never see Melanie again.
Right.
In this aspect, if I have even one drink. And there would be times where we would be on the phone and I would be really freaking out and I would pour like a glass of scotch and I would just have it right there. And it was like a weird parachute thing where I knew what it meant. Like if I took a sip, it's over.
It's a sip or like Melanie.
It's just like a red button.
Yeah.
It's over. And I would, and always though, I would pour it down the sink at the end, and because there was always one of the things that was so amazing about Melanie is when any time we were in a conflict, she was also trying to solve the problem. Mm-hmm. There was never a thing of like something feels great about fighting or I don't know. Right. You know, sometimes people just need to get something out.
And like you work on this and like come back to me when you got it sorted.
Yeah. There was always like a conversation and we're always trying to find a solution. And so by the end of the conversation, I would have calmed down. I would have felt like we listened to each other and we were able to both talk, and I would just pour it down the sink. And at a certain point I realized that was a very unhealthy thing to be doing.
It's wasteful as well.
Well, and it was also and wasteful.
You're buying bottles of booze to dump them down the sink.
Well, I mean, some people when they stop drinking, they like pour all their alcohol in their house away. But I didn't. I did
too. I felt like eliminating the alcohol wasn't. There was like that wasn't the point.
Some people would just have to, and I totally respect that. And everyone has their own journey. For me, I wanted to be able to have it be that it's not that there's just no alcohol around. It's that I have the control.
Were choosing. You have the will. Yeah. And like the fact that you felt compelled to test yourself, like even with like, because I would look at bottles of alcohol, but never like pour it into a glass and be like, okay.
I would get so activated when we would get into arguments because of all sorts of things in my past, and I would think we're gonna be in a fight for 6 hours, and I'm gonna lose my mind.
Right.
And so I would have it there, and I would like be like smelling it and be like,
well, and it's funny because that's like projection and avoidance, right? Like, that's a huge thing for me too. It was like I didn't realize how avoidant in general of a human being. I always felt like I dive in, man. I'm real. I'm authentic. I'm wild. I mean, I think you and I were like kind of wild party guys.
Yeah,
like,
we had
people were like, oh, Tyler's fucking funny. I'm on party with him.
Yeah.
I remember partying with you once.
Oh yeah.
But avoidance. In general of my life. And the way I figured that out after I got sober was like I did 2 years without the program. I just did it. I was I was still with my ex. I was definitely white knuckling, even though you couldn't convince me that at the time. I was like, no, I'm not, man. I'm like, this is fine. But it was like everything. I was so terrified all the time of conflict.
Yeah, me too.
But in my secret life, I was creating all kinds of problems.
Oh yeah.
I was like being duplicitous. I was being unfaithful. I was doing all these things that I was replacing alcohol with as like another form of destruction and as another form of avoiding you know what I mean? It was like, as long as there was some drama to focus on or some shit that I had to like overcome, or I'm going to be better than this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was all just avoiding being here. Just being present and being like a human being in the world was really hard for me.
It's interesting how difficult that is. And it's funny too, because you see, we're both dads, and you see, especially when kids are little, they're present all the time.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting. You look at them and you go, wow, at what point did I decide?
Yeah.
At what point
I'm going to take that track.
Yeah. Like this world is not beautiful or magical enough for me, or I've been hurt too, or whatever it is you're trying to escape, whenever that pain entered your life that made you go, I got to get out.